Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the man with the fedora, the pinky ring, and the New York thing. You know him for his catchphrase, forget about it. You know him as the author of the world-renowned book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. You know his snazz, you know his jazz, you know him for all that pizzazz. When it comes to boxing commentary, he does the most. Without further ado, here's your host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, Bad Brad Berkwitt.
How did all these people get in my room? For today, on the return of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, we have professional boxer and musician Jimmy Holmes. Rolling. Folks, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there so you don't leave me comments on my YouTube channel. You may hear tip, 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 or you may hear occasional bark. That would be Santino Corleone Berkwitt because he's production assistant / head of security / union. And he already told me that he didn't get the number of treats that he wanted, so he will probably bark for a treat. And if you hear the thunder, hey, that's Indiana. I can't help that. But with that said, Jimmy, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, absolutely. I'm glad to have you. Before we start, I want to say to you, I had completely forgotten that when you sent me the picture, that 8 years ago, which was 2011, when you fought Jimmy Lang, you came to Virginia, and I was living in the DMV at the time, and I covered your fight. I completely forgot about that interview, both of you guys, and you had the shirt on. So when you sent me the picture, I was like, that's amazing that I was in Virginia, you were obviously living in Indiana,
right? And
how boxing is a brotherhood, and how life comes full circle, because I never thought I'd be in Indiana. Deb got the job at BP,
right,
in Whiting, and now I come out here, and we went to Chicago 2 months ago, and we covered a Bobby Hits card, and I ran into people I haven't seen in 14, 15 years, and I forgot that they were out in the area. So you reminded me when you sent me the shirt. I was like, wow, in 8 years. And it's amazing because, I'm only 23 years old. So I was so young back then,
Right.
But I appreciate you coming on, being a debut guest. We're going to run a bunch of topics,
sure,
talk about a bunch of things. But what I want to do first of all is, Deb, if you would, could you zoom in on Jimmy's belts that he brought with him? You got the zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about this belt right here, John.
That was the Indiana State title belt. Won that in Maryville probably 2004, 2005,
okay,
somewhere that time period. Some of it kind of just blurs and blends together now.
Right.
Yeah, I held it for several years.
Okay.
Ended up losing a non-title fight, but I relinquished the title then because if I lost a fight, even though it wasn't for the title, I didn't feel I deserved it at that point.
Okay.
So I let it go.
And the smaller one has an interesting story behind it.
The smaller one was given to me by the town of Belfast. New York.
Okay.
I went there to train about 9-10 years ago, and trained old school, same exact barn where John L. Sullivan trained.
Wow.
When he fought Jake Kilrain in a 75-round fight, 2.5 hours, out in 100-degree weather.
Right.
He went there, small little town, and dropped 40, 50 pounds during the time he was there. Got him away from the wild women and the big lights of the city and everything.
Right.
And so I trained old school, and the town of Belfast kind of brought me in and accepted me, and I became their adopted son out there.
Okay.
And so they supported me the rest of my career, and they presented me with that belt. So
That's cool. Now, Jack Callahan was your trainer.
yes, it was.
Professional fighter from here. Great guy. We were talking about
Oh, yeah,
off
definitely.
camera. Did he go with you to Belfast?
He did not. My other coach did, though. That started me out in the amateurs. His name was Jeff Mengel.
Okay.
He started me out my senior year of high school. He happened to move to my high school my senior year, and he grabbed me in the hallway one day and said, "Hey, I hear you like to box." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'd like to do something, you know." And he said, "Well, hey, meet me. Let's start training." So my other coach did, and Coach Mengel's been with me the whole time. And then when I met Jack, he's like, "Hey, if Jack can help us, bring him on." So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, looking at your fight record and box record, I always throw aside because box record is not perfect by a long shot.
Yeah, some stuff.
But you retired, I believe, in 2012.
Correct.
Okay. What have you been up to as far as boxing side since you retired? It's been about 7 years now that you retired.
Right. Well, I've continued being part of boxing. I'm still. I opened the boxing club in 2008.
Okay.
With my original coach Jeff Mengel. Him and I opened the club together. So I've been training fighters there. I was training while I was fighting, and then a little bit more after I stopped fighting.
Okay.
So we've had about 30 amateur state champs
Okay.
come out of our small little gym. So it's been keeping me busy.
And that's in DeMont.
That's in DeMont.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Now, do you travel at all with any amateurs?
I bring guys to fights. Some of my guys have fought in Detroit,
Okay.
fought in Philadelphia. We've been to Missouri for the Ringside World Championship tournament a couple different years. They stopped doing that now this last year for some reason. But Indy, Chicago. So we go all over with them.
Okay. You mentioned Missouri. Do you know the Cook family by chance? Dallas Cook?
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, Dallas is an amateur professional trainer. He's out of Missouri.
Oh, okay.
His sons, Jesse and Dylan, fight. And then he got a bunch of amateurs as well.
Okay. Yeah, there was some Cooks around this area, like the LaPorte area,
Okay.
years ago. Nick Cook and a few other fighters, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if they have any relationship.
In your career, who do you feel was your toughest opponent and why?
Well, I fought some pretty tough guys. Yeah, honestly, I think I fought George Tapanipa
Who's out of Oklahoma?
out of Oklahoma.
Yep, I know.
That day in particular. See, I wouldn't even consider him my toughest because on a normal conditions and on a better day for me, I think I could have done all right. Just got caught fighting at 120-degree heat outside.
Oh,
Well, it was not my day. Jimmy Lang was definitely tough.
Okay, and I
Jim-
was there for that one.
Jimmy was tough. You know, just all around great jab. His best weapon was his jab. I mean, it just fired like a piston. Bam. Couldn't really stop the jab. I could stop the rest of the stuff. The jab I had a hard time with.
Okay.
But I'd probably say he was probably one of my toughest.
Toughest one?
Yeah.
Okay. In your boxing career, what is your proudest moment?
Proudest moment. You know what? I would say finishing the Jimmy Lang fight. Feeling like I held my own. Feeling like I did what I could in there, but I walked away, with my head held high.
It was a good fight. Like I said, I was there. It was a good fight. I thought it was much closer than what the judges had.
Yeah, and I think for my whole career, you know, I just always wanted to know that I could hang with the guys that were up there.
Okay.
You know, I was a part-time fighter. I was a school teacher all the time, you know, trying to get my conditioning in before I went to work, get home after work, go to the gym for a couple hours after work, balance a family, a couple daughters. And so it just, for me to be able to jump in there, hang with the guys, and have some people tell me they thought I won the fight, and, you know, for me, that was probably the proudest moment.
So I'm going to throw a question that's not down here. You have just daughters, no son?
We have 2 daughters.
2 daughters. So what was tougher, boxing or raising 2 daughters? I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, you know
That's
the
a
answer.
trick question, but we know the answer to that one.
Our youngest is 18 right now, and well, you know, she knows everything at this point. But no, you know, they both have been great kids. You know, but they've both been tough. But yeah, you know the answer to it.
Okay. If you had to, in one sentence, sum up your boxing career, what would that be?
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. One sentence. fighting school teacher Jimmy Holmes gave it everything he had every day. He went to the gym and in every fight that he had.
Okay.
That'd be it. I gave everything I had.
All right. Staying with the boxing thing, I want to ask you a question that I've asked probably now 20 plus years. Something that I wish would happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but now that I'm making a comeback to doing the shows, I'm still going to put it out there.
Okay.
As a boxer, and now you're training people, do you favor a mandatory retirement fund for all boxers? And if you do, how, in your opinion, do you see it happening?
The idea I think is great. I think all the other sports have stuff like that. The problem with boxing is boxers aren't running in a season like NBA and football and everything, where they're signed on for a season and they're playing a certain number of games. Boxing, you might get a few fights and they might drop you after that.
Right.
So I think the task of getting it accomplished is going to be tough.
Right.
But I definitely think it's needed. Some of these guys, that's all they've done their whole life.
Yeah.
Some of them dropped out of school or the only thing they know how to do is fight. So I think definitely they're going to need something, because you can't keep fighting. And that brings me up to, people ask me all the time, well, this guy needs to retire, that guy needs to retire. It's tough to tell somebody to retire when that's what they've done their whole life.
Right, it is.
Maybe they're not as good at it as they once were, but it's tough to tell somebody to stop doing something the only thing they know how to do.
Right.
I'm not sure how to go about putting a plan into place where they're able to, but I don't know. Someone's got to figure it out.
Okay. Now we'll segue. You mentioned it, and we'll segue into it. I know you had two nicknames. It was Gentleman,
Right.
Jimmy Holmes, and then the fighting school teacher.
Correct.
As well. Tell the viewers about your years as a school teacher.
Okay, I've been teaching school almost 18 years. I was in the amateurs boxing when I got my first teaching job. So I boxed throughout my senior year of high school, throughout my college days, and then shortly after in the amateurs. And happened to be my first day on the job, first day having a real job out of college, and I met Jack Callahan.
Okay.
Through a lady that worked at the school there, and and Jack had the pro experience. Jack started bringing me to train with some of his pro fighters, spar with them, and I was getting the best of some of them and doing really well with them. He's like, "You could do this if you want." I was like, never even really thought about it. I was like, "Let's see what happens." And that's kind of how I got into pro fights.
Okay. Now let's talk about the school side, being a school teacher.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got off track there.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for.
I've taught everything from first grade. I taught first grade for several years. I've taught fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, and currently I've been teaching phys ed.
Okay.
So kindergarten.
You still look like you're in great shape.
I've packed a few pounds on,
but packed that much on.
Yeah. But kindergarten through sixth grade, so I see roughly 750 kids a week.
Okay.
And so I play games, try to keep moving, keep busy.
And the school teaching, is that something eventually you'll be able to retire from? You got that many years?
I definitely, unless something else comes along. I've been teaching almost 20 years.
Okay.
But I'm always keeping my eyes open just to see what's out there.
I got to ask you, this as a school teacher, it's not a question, but it's just something that bothers me. Do you have any thoughts on, you see a lot of school teachers today that the budget doesn't give them money, where you see school teachers having to pay, I'm 51.
Right.
And the school teachers, I'm not saying they made a ton of money back then,
right.
but I don't recall any teachers, in the 70s and the 80s having to buy the school supplies. Today you see a lot of teachers having to, now there was teachers that, and our teacher may go above and beyond,
right.
But now you're seeing in the school system, teachers having to buy school supplies. Santino, see, that's what I'm talking about. Hush. Go ahead.
You're exactly right. The schools do supply some stuff, but most teachers are in the profession because they want to make a difference with kids. They want to give the kids the best experience they can get.
Right.
And to do that, they almost have to go out and get supplies for them and get some stuff they just don't have.
Okay.
So the budget keeps getting cut.
Santino, I know this is reality TV, but hush.
But yeah, most corporations, everything's getting cut. It's been kind of, the whole thing with public education's been kind of on a downswing, I would say, the last 12, 13 years.
Right.
But the first 4 or 5 years, it wasn't bad in there, and then from that point on, it seems like more cuts. That's how That's how I ended up at 3 schools now rather than 1.
Wow.
Because they used to, I used to be at the big school teaching phys ed. Now they had 2 small schools, and they got rid of the specials teachers, art, PE, music for the 2 small schools, and now they have just one of us do all 3 buildings.
I'm glad you addressed it, because like I said, I hate seeing it. I think teachers are heroes, they're unsung heroes. I mean, a good teacher makes such an impact on a kid's life.
Right.
You know, and it's sad to see.
The numbers are really dropping, especially Indiana. Indiana is very low on the pay scale.
Right.
I've always had to work 2, 3, 4 part-time jobs besides teaching, and besides boxing was one of my part-time jobs.
Right.
Just to get some extra money in. So just to keep our head above water. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to segue into the music stuff.
Sure.
Now, don't take this personal. I'm a New Yorker, so I always got a smart comment. But I had to chuckle when the name of the group is Bump Fuzzy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that the first thing that came to mind was an 80s adult movie. With that said, being smart,
Yeah.
How did that name Bump Fuzzy come along?
You know what? I just joined this band at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
I played in bands my whole life since high school, and the bass player and singer, I played in a band with him years ago, and then I played in a double band called the Double Vision Band. My wife played in that, and we, my sister and a buddy of mine, and just got to the point where that band kind of fizzled out, and Bump Fuzzy was up running. They've been running, like I said, 8, 9, 10 years.
Okay.
And they were looking for a keyboard player, and I was like, man, I'm a guitar player more so. But I do play keyboard a little bit too. So I joined the band as a keyboard player, and then I play guitar most of the night. But the name was already in place, so I wasn't there when
you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
You can't own that. It might be possibly from an 80s adult.
It could be. I have.
So I want you, when you see him again, say, this guy said, and I'm sure that, and I'm probably not original, because I'm sure somebody has said that, you know, it kind of sounds a little funny.
Oh yeah. And the reaction a lot of times is the same as
See, I wasn't original.
A little bit of a chuckle. Right. Usually I tell them the name of the band, it's a little bit of a chuckle.
Right.
And
I actually think it's a cool name, but that's what made me think of.
I think it's one of those names that, you know what, it sticks in your head. It's like, oh yeah, this is those guys.
Yes.
And like I said, I wasn't there when the name came out, but it was like, it definitely stuck with me. I heard the name, I never forgot it.
Okay.
So, I don't know, there's some madness behind it all.
All right. Well, on the Bump Fuzzy note, folks, I know somebody, Tommy Lamont, I know you're cracking up on that because I know how your mind works. We're going to take a short commercial break. This is the man with the fedora, the pinky ring, and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And what do James Quick Tillis, Kenny Norton, Chuck Wepner, Angelo Dundee, Joey Bishop, Buddy Hackett, Vanessa Del Rio, referee Davey Pearl, Fernando Vargas, and Gene Fulmer all have in common? Well, they're in my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. Now, if you'd like to pick up a copy, go to authorhouse.com. Again, that's authorhouse.com. Now, if you're a boxing collector and you'd like to get it autographed, all you have to do is pay postage to St. John, Indiana, and back. I will sign it the way you want it, or I will put a personal inscription in it that I think that you'll like. All right? So grab your book today, or pick it up as a gift for a boxing lover that you may know. All right, now, I'm going to throw you all, as I always do, forget about it. Bad Brad A. Flowers, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. If you're interested in sponsoring or advertising on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, contact the Ringside Report office at 703-517-2155. Again, that's 703-517-2155. Or you can contact us via email at bberkwitt@aol.com. That's bberkwitt@aol.com. Forget about it. Bad Brad. All right, folks. We're now back with the comeback show of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show. We have former professional boxer, school teacher, and musician Jimmy Holmes on. Now, Jimmy, what I want to do is I want to throw a bunch of random questions, fun questions. Give me the first thing that comes to your head.
Fire away.
Okay. First one we're going to ask you. Favorite fighter of all time?
George Foreman.
Okay. He's right there on the wall.
Big George. Yeah.
Favorite fight of all time?
Foreman versus Lyle.
Oh, what a fight. What a
Ron
fight.
Lyle versus George Foreman. That's just one of my.
Yeah,
That's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah,
but
no, great fight.
There's been a lot.
1976. Great
There's
fight.
been a lot of them.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Rocky, all of them.
All of them? Rocky 5? You gonna say
You know,
Rocky 5?
Right. Even the moment time again. I know that's the one that a lot of people like to criticize, but the whole, all of them. There's some parts of all of them that I love.
Well, I tell you what, from the Rocky 5, I use it on my other show, the RSR Video Email Back Show, when he does the dream sequence with Mick.
Right.
And he says, you were that angel. I ain't going to tell you how many times I cried on that scene.
Get up. Get up.
Yeah. He said, it's like an angel on your shoulder. He says, you get up, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
Because Mickey loves you.
Game Rocky.
Yep, Rocky
Marciano's cufflink.
That's right. That's right.
There's some part of all the movies that I really like.
Favorite musical band?
Musical band? I'm going to get laughed at. It's Warrant.
Okay. I like Warrant.
Late 80s.
Yeah, I know Warrant.
Late 80s, early 90s. Actually, I became friends with Janie Lane, the singer, years ago.
Okay.
We actually promoted some concerts. He actually did some shows right in our town that we promoted. So, yeah.
Favorite singer? Male singer?
There's so many different eras, different kinds of music.
Okay.
I was a huge Elvis fan.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you commented on my thing.
Frank Sinatra,
Oh,
love
don't
Frank.
suck up to me. Don't suck
No,
up.
I do. I actually I sang My Way on a cruise
See,
ship.
sucking up to me?
I sang My Way on a cruise ship.
Before you came.
And actually, I won the Frank Sinatra role, and I got to be in their production. I mean, my voice is much deeper than his, but I sang the song okay. 80s metal, Janie Lane of Warrant was my favorite. So different kinds of music.
I'm gonna throw you on the spot. I know this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I love Elvis too. But if you had to pick one, I saw you comment on my post.
Oh, yeah.
He owns Always on.
Oh, not even
I
close.
love Willie, but he owns it. Do you have a favorite Elvis song?
Oh gosh. There's so many. There's so many songs.
Suspicious Minds.
I love Suspicious Minds. I'm Burning Love. Everything from the 70s, the late 60s, 70s. I mean, a lot of those songs weren't even his. He sang, they're everybody else's song he sang. So I can't pick them. Sorry.
All right. The man question. Favorite car?
Oh, Shelby 427 Cobra.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah. Ferraris. I like Ferraris.
Ferraris are nice too. Favorite noise that you like to hear?
Noise? My wife's voice.
Okay. You're a suck up.
No, favorite noise, guitars screaming, and that kind of stuff. My dog's barking.
Okay. I know you're a dog lover. You got great. We same way.
Yeah, my dog's barking and my little beagle crying when I walk out the door because I know he's missing me. So.
I watch your videos. I love the
Mr. Beagle.
Yeah, he got his own. Do you have a page?
He's got his own Facebook page.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Least favorite noise.
Least favorite noise. Oh gosh, probably my daughter's voice whining about stuff. No, I can't. Probably, you know what? At this point,
can't edit that out.
Little kids at school that whine, that just whine, and like kindergarten first graders that just whine, and when you ask them a question, everything's just a whine, just a whiny answer on stuff. I can't stand a whine. You know what? Suck it up. Let's go. That's
favorite food.
Pizza.
We're preaching to the choir. Santino Hush.
He likes pizza too.
He likes pizza too. You got to be in the act. Everybody wants in the act. Last one. Favorite vacation destination. I think you just went somewhere. Didn't you?
I would say the Caribbean on a cruise ship. Anywhere in that area.
And that's the one thing. Deb has been on a cruise. She went Disney cruise. We're going to be doing hopefully next year. I've never done a cruise. Was in the Navy all those years. Never.
No, we went on one for our honeymoon, and from that point on, that's been our favorite
Santino Hush.
favorite type of deal. I've been on probably 7, 8 of them since then.
Okay.
And some people love them, some people don't. For me, it's my kind of vacation because you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. If you want to lay by a pool and do nothing that day, you can do that. If you want to go around the ship and do all kinds of, go to productions and shows and play bingo or whatever you want to do, you can. If you want to get off the ship, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Cool. If you could meet one person from any time in history, who would you like to meet, and what would your first question be for him?
Oh man, you're really throwing me on the spot here, aren't you? Oh man, anyone in history. You know what? I never got to meet Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali would definitely be someone I would love to speak with. My question might be how in the world do you take those punches from George Foreman and Zaire, laying on the ropes, just letting him pound away at you?
He suffered for it though.
Oh yeah.
He still suffered for it.
Yeah.
People, and I would ask a similar question, but I remind people, even though he did that rope-a-dope, he still paid the price for the ultimate price.
And he, you know, in the gym is when he conditioned himself. He took just beatings and sparring,
Yeah.
just to put his body through everything he had to. I mean, his fights, he took a lot of beatings, but not like the gym.
Right.
No one ever does. You
Right.
know, in the gym, you take your punishment, and stuff I've read said, you know, the amount of rounds that he would spar, different sparring partners, and just, you know, just laying on the ropes, just taking punches, just absorbing. Yeah, it's
Okay. With everything we discussed so far, if you had to sum up in one sentence, who is Jimmy Holmes?
Jimmy Holmes. I would say I'm someone who I always gave it everything I had. Everything I've done, I've tried to give the best I could in every possible thing. Whether I'm playing music, whether I'm boxing, whether I'm being a father or husband, whatever. I've always tried to give everything I possibly could at that time.
Okay. And finally, what is the saying you live your life by, if you have a saying?
I'd say, well, for one, you don't get a practice run. This is the real thing. So you can make mistakes and learn from them. But I've had some near-death experiences and falling off roofs and all kinds of stuff. I'd say, you know what? Don't put stuff off to tomorrow. Today might be it for you. So live each day like, you know, it could be your last.
You know, Sinatra, I think, said it was Dean Martin Sinatra said, live every day like it's your last because one day it's going to be. Which is true, right?
It's true.
Which is true.
It is true. You never know when your time's coming.
Okay. All right, folks, we're not wrapping up, but we got a surprise for you. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you're going to thoroughly enjoy it. And then we're going to wrap up the show from there. So on that note, I'll throw you a Forget About It, and we'll be right back. All right, folks, I told you we would have a surprise for you. The musical side, I love diversity in people. So without further ado, on the guitar. There you go. First of all, appreciate it. Really do. It was an honor talking to you today. That was for you, Deb, so you owe me. Okay? By the way, he said that's $50 per song, so you owe him $50 before he leaves. But it was a pleasure talking to you. It was great having you as my comeback guest. appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me in. Thank you.
And the second song I'm going to say, even though you should know what it is, it's classic, The Sweet Child of Mine. But I'm going to say it just in case somebody says, Brad, what was the name of the song you should play? In closing, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's so cool that boxing, which I absolutely love, brings people together, because it was 8 years ago, 8 years ago, 2011.
Right.
With the Jimmy Lang fight.
Right.
You had the picture. And so 8 years later, I'm in Indiana, when I was in Virginia. And, you know, everybody asks me about, it always says boxing stories. But, you know, we always talk about the brotherhood in boxing. There really is a brotherhood in boxing.
It's almost
really
a small circle. You run with the same people.
Right.
You know, you go to shows, you go to fights, you see a lot of the same folks. And then even when I've been to Canastota, International Boxing Hall of Fame out there, and even in Belfast at the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame, I run into people I know. Right. You know, people I haven't seen in a while. It's like, hey, man, how you been? You know, so it's awesome.
It is. All right, folks. That's a wrap. That's our comeback show. I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna put him on the spot. You know what I'm gonna do, Dad. You know what I'm gonna have him say. So throw him a forget about it.
Forget about it.
You should already know I was gonna do that. Everybody knows that. All right. That's another show in the can. And as Frank Sinatra sang so eloquently, so long ago, the best is yet to come. Bad Brad out.